Hey, Soraya.
Hey, Jeff.
So we're continuing our episode focus on EPs.
Yeah, and this one's a good one. This is one that I wasn't too familiar with, so
Yeah,
gave me a good opportunity to listen to it.
I'm in the same boat. It's kind of weird because if you go back and you look at, we're talking about True West, the True West EP, um, their debut EP that came out in 1983. If you read any of their articles or reviews about the band from that time period, every single one of them mentions Paisley Underground. Um, so it's interesting that a band that's often connected or always connected to the Paisley Underground is a band that kind of flew under the radar for me. And I've been
Yeah,
trying to wonder why. Um, and I think one of the reasons, and it's partly the reason why I've never thought of them as part of the Paisley Underground, is that True West was from Davis, right? Not from the LA scene, like the bands from the Paisley Underground were.
right.
Although they did often come down to LA and play. But I think part of the reason why I wasn't super familiar with them is the fact they weren't from LA. But another reason is I don't I did they never came across like any compilations or anything that I read, so they were kind of off my radar. Some bands from Davis were on my radar, like Game Theory, and that was because of my Quercio connection. Thin White Rope because of Frontier Records, um, and then 28th Day, who we've talked about because my civics high school teacher, that was his daughter. But True West from Davis wasn't a band that was on my radar, so I don't know a lot either.
Well, then I think we need to dig in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get started. Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a groovear.
Let's get groovy. All right, so let's get groovy with True West.
Yes.
So, because of the fact that I wasn't super familiar with them, I was very happy when we had Ronnie Barnett as our co-host when we spoke with both Gavin Blair and Russ Tolman, key members of the band. Um, and he's the expert for True West, and he's not here with
100%.
yeah. So this is my version. This was the version of the EP that came out in England on New Rose. The they self-released the EP, right? I think we learned
Yes.
from Russ Tolman, and they called their label "Bring Out Your Dead Records," which I'm sure is a Monty Python reference.
Yes, it is.
And I think Ronnie pointed out when we were speaking with Russ Tolman that the only other release besides the True West stuff was 28th Day. So
Mm,
Bring Out Your Dead Records wasn't something that put out a lot of stuff, but this EP has 5 songs released in
right.
1983, right? And then this also came out the same year, 1983, on the British New Rose label, and it's the same EP, but they've added a few songs. I think Gavin was the one that pointed out that they didn't like it. The British didn't like a short 5 song EP, and they wanted to make it fuller. So this is my version of it. Um, the version that we're talking about is, I think I did a screenshot of it to point out in case people want to look at it. So it looks more like that,
Right.
and that's got Gavin on the cover. So, anyways, so there we are. Any initial thoughts on the EP before we dig into songs?
Well, I wanted to add one quote from, so this is from a Rolling Stone uh, blurb,
Okay.
March 29th, 1984.
Oh, okay.
And so, kind of giving a little background. And this quote was just it kind of made me giggle. But so it says, Hailing from the small college town of Davis, True West, Tolman, singer Gavin Blair, guitarist Richard McGrath, and new recruits Kevin Stador.
Okay.
I'm guessing on that, or Stador on bass, and Steve Pakenham on drums. Takes its name from the Sam Shepard play, but their sound, colliding metallic guitars, galloping rhythms. Galloping was the part that had me kind of giggle. And Blair's brooding vocals has more to do with the Wild West of the 60s.
Oh,
True West alliance with the Los Angeles's neo-psychedelic Paisley Underground
of
dates
course.
back to 1979 when Tolman and Blair played in a Davis band called the Suspects
Mm.
with Steve Wynn of the Dream Syndicate. But Tolman claims the band's upcoming album, to be produced by Tom Verlaine, won't be half as psychedelic. Quote, after all, you can only write so many one-chord drone songs.
Ah, that's hilarious.
Okay, but it's the description. Metallic guitars, galloping rhythms, Blair's vocals. And I think on this EP, what we get is a lot of that. I found it kind of humorous, the galloping rhythms. You know, I
Yeah.
think they were trying to find a way to add some sort of Western element.
Yeah.
But I think what this EP does, it's a very unique sounding band.
Yeah.
And it's because it's got these very heavy guitars on this EP, and then you've got these really great vocals, you've got some great lyrics, and then a bunch of other stuff mixed in. And so I do want to say that Jeff and I focused on original songs for this EP, because there is a very, and it's a cover that Gavin talked about, that Russ talked about, the cover of Lucifer Sam by Pink Floyd. But I think Jeff and I can agree that that cover's been talked about enough, but I think it's worth looking at the original songs.
Yes.
And look, there happen to be 4 left, 4 songs left, and there are 2 of us, an easy peasy split. So, okay, Jeff, we're going to start with you. What's your first pick?
Okay, we'll start with my first pick. And I'm going with, wait for it, the leadoff track.
Boom.
So Steps to the Door, which was written by Tolman, Blair, and the drummer Frank French, who played on this particular record. A couple things that I noted about the song is it definitely is, to me, on this EP, has the most psychedelic feel. There's lots of reverb and spaciness to it, and a little bit drony, like you mentioned. But one thing that I cannot shake from my brain when I listen to this song is Gentle Cycle, Derek C's band from Rainford.
Yeah, okay.
I cannot not hear Gentle Cycle when I hear this song.
That's
But and I think it's that psychedelic feel. But some of the lyrics on this I think are very interesting and really make me think. And it's the verse that says, "There's a world I choose to ignore. I know I should be out there. I know I could be right there, but there's too many steps to that door." And to me, I think it's very intriguing thinking about um, obstacles, maybe. And I know I should be here or I could be here. This is the way that I interpret it.
Sure.
But it's just too much of a gap to get from here to where I could be or where I should be. And sometimes that fear overtakes us and we can't make that step. Sometimes we're paralyzed because of a fear or just overwhelmed by the thought of what it takes to get from here. But that's what I think of when I hear the song. So I love that stanza. I'm not sure if that's what was meant when they wrote it, but too many steps to the door. But besides that, I love the psychedelic feel of it. I love the production. I'm a fan of lo-fi production, and this is definitely that. We should mention that Suspects member Steve Wynn and Russ Tolman are credited as the producers for this EP. But anyways, those are aspects that I like about the song, and specifically that stanza. So I say we give it a listen and
let's go.
see what y'all think. Can you hear Gentle Psycho when you hear that at
Oh,
all?
totally.
Oh,
Totally.
it's not just me. How far off do you think I am on the lyrics? I think it's
Uh,
open for interpretation, but
no, I don't think you're that far off at
okay.
all.
All right. All right.
No, I think when you kind of examine the five songs on this EP, it's a lot of there's a lot of different topics being thought about, wondered about. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't think you're far off.
All right. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
All right. How about your first pick?
So my pick, because I like to follow Jeff always. I picked track number 2. It's a song called "I'm Not Here." Now, before we listen to the song, I wanted to mention this quote from an article that appeared in Fanzine. Now, Fanzine with double F for Fanzine. But anyways, this little blurb caught my attention, and I think this is why I think it goes back to your point about True West kind of being new for us, newish,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it says the band, whose hometown is Sacramento, is well known as psychedelic, though they lean more towards green on red than, say, the Vipers or Fuzz Tones or even the Chesterfield Kings. They inform me that they are sick and tired of talking about that. So the interview varied widely in topics. And I think this goes back to your point. With some of the Paisley Underground bands, it was really kind of easy to identify. But the minute you start kind of bringing in different influences, it's like trying to fit that square peg into a round hole. True West, yes, but no, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and this song, look, True West is a name, and it's got, it's kind of like this rethinking of country roots, but with a very modern expression. This song is it. In the words of Michael Curcio, this song is a freak out. Okay, so I'm not here.
Let's hear it.
What do you think? Freak out or no?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And my favorite part of that song is I don't know if it's drums or percussion, but there's a metallic sound in there that I
Yeah.
hear. It almost sounds like a muted cowbell or something. mixed slow. I don't know. That's my favorite part of the song.
And
But
then like after a couple of times hearing it, the last few times I could hear, I'm assuming it's Gavin going, woo! You know, like as like the guitar is like, and you hear just woo! And I'm like, that
nice.
this song is like that metallic guitars, galloping rhythms. It's like this boom, 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 boom. It's this assault of sounds. And wonder why I'm not at home, why I don't pick up that telephone. I'm not here and I don't care. Like it's very nihilistic. It's like I'm cut off. Don't worry about it. Just don't ask.
Nice.
I'm not here. It's a really interesting song. Definitely one I did not expect.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at some of the description of the band, and then you go, "Wait, what?" No, this is a hard rocking band.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say probably, one of the more hard rocking records that we've talked about from '83 for sure.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely have that heavier edge. And I don't think galloping rhythm is a bad way to describe it at all. Specifically on that song, it definitely has
No, it's
has
there.
that feel. Yeah. And I did want to mention that the writing team is the same at this song as my first pick, Steps to the Door, where it's drummer French, Gavin Blair, and Russ Tolman. So
Yeah.
but good pick.
It's a pretty cool song. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to go next and then we'll end with yours?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, because
We're
Jeff
going
and
in
I,
order.
someday, this is another Jeff sandwich where he's the bread and I'm the stuff in the middle.
I'm the white bread.
Yeah. I'm the pastrami in the middle. Anyway,
nice.
So my next pick is another original song, Hollywood Holiday. It should mention that after Hollywood Holiday comes the cover of Lucifer Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They called this Hollywood.
Yeah. I still, yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
So just let's hear this lyric before you listen to the song. Hollywood Holiday. I said it once before and I'll say it again. Yes, I said it all before. I don't want this night to end. Hollywood Holiday.
All right. Let's give it a listen.
Something's going on in that bungalow. Palm trees should be swaying outside. Pink flamingos taking flight. But something's wrong tonight. Hollywood holiday. I said it once before and I'll say it again. Yes, I said it all before. I don't want this night to end. Hollywood holiday. She slips in the doorway and lies on the floor. He spills his wine as he opens the door. In the dark. against the wall. She crawls slowly to her knees. Isn't life a mystery? I've said it once before and I'll say it again. Yes, I said it all before. I don't want this night to end. Hollywood holiday.
That
I
song
like that
takes
one.
that song takes a big old turn. And so, it starts out and to me, it sounds like a very kind of mainstreamy song, but it's the lyrics that grab you. And, you think it's going one way and then boom, you get this lyric towards the end. She says she hasn't done this much at all. He leans his back up against the wall. She crawls slowly to her knees. Isn't life a mystery? And you go, wow, okay. And right before it, she lies in wait for what's to come. And you're like, this night is not going to end well.
I don't
But
think so.
I think the lyrics are really good. This is what makes this song different. Also, some of the arrangements, some of the guitars are really interesting on this. And Gavin's vocals, to me, are what kind of add a layer, not of mystery, but really like something's going on. Something's going on, and you know, I don't want this night to end. And we're like, oh, okay, but it's a really good song, and it stands by itself. So, and I think it's interesting to think that okay, and then this ends, and then the next song is Lucifer Sam, which it's a very very good cover.
Yeah.
It's a different cover of Lucifer Sam. Like if you have 3 o'clock's Lucifer Sam, just throw it out.
Yeah.
Because this is a completely different take on it.
Agreed.
Anyways, Jeff, what is your pick?
So that leaves one original left.
Yes.
And my last pick is It's About Time, the closing track. But before I talk specifically about that song, I wanted to step back a little bit and look at this album and this band more in a more general sense.
Okay.
And I was reading through some of their press, and there was this article that I came across in BAM, 1983 article, and the critic is Duncan Strauss. And I just wanted to read a little part of what Duncan Strauss says about True West. And Duncan says, True West's music glides in and out of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, proffering elements of original psychedelia, snappy contemporary rhythms, guitar workouts that alternate or mix Verlaine-like dynamics with heavy metalish fret grinding. I thought that was interesting. And Blair's subtly forceful vocals, sometimes wispy, but never wimpy. It all meshes smartly through the material. So I liked how they described it as going through the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I agree.
And that specifically relates to my last track. But before we play that, in this BAM article, that I was reading about from 1983. They just sideline. They did a Critics' Choice favorites from 1983, top 10 favorites, and I just wanted to read through one of the
Please.
BAM critics because it's interesting what their top 10 was. And it was BAM critic Denise Sullivan, and this is her top 10 from 1983. I'm trying to figure out, should I go from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1? I'll go 10 to 1. So her number 10 release of 1983, Rain Parade's Emergency Third Whale Power Trip. Number 9, the B Team, their record by American. Number 8, True West, the record that we're talking about. Number 7, the Radio Tokyo Tapes compilation. Number 6, No Time Like Now, Translator. Number 5, Everywhere at Once, the Plimsolls. Number 4, 10560, Long Riders. Number 3, Baroque Hoedown, the 3 o'clock. Number 2, the Bangles EP. So all these EPs that we've been talking about,
Wow.
and her number 1 release was More Fun in the New World by X, but it had Bangles, Baroque Hoedown, 10560, Radio Tokyo Tapes, True West, Rain Parade, all these records that we talked about. But that was her favorite. But moving back to It's About Time, and I've got to tell you, I have mixed feelings about this song in particular. There's parts of it I absolutely love, and there's parts of it that make me cringe. The song is written by the 2 guitar players, Russ Tolman and Richard McGrath. There's a line in here that I absolutely love, and it's harsh, but to me, it really struck a chord. And the line is, you say you never loved me. I say you never even tried. It's about time. Anyways, I thought that was
brutal.
Yeah. You never even tried to love me. So yeah, I thought that was pretty tough. But the introduction, Soraya, it grates on me. I have to say, it's the lead guitar part that something about it just really grates me. But the parts that I love about this song, I absolutely love the rhythm guitar part on this. The rhythm guitar part it's just so me. I really feel the part. And then Gavin's singing and the melody, specifically the melody that he's singing, I just really love that about the song. But the lead guitar part that goes throughout it is the part that kind of gets me. And I was reading the Duncan critic, the way that he was talking about the music lighting in and out of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I feel like the intro is very, very 80s and not a good way.
Okay.
So, anyway,
fair.
Let's listen to it, and afterwards, tell me what you're feeling about the introduction and the lead guitar. And if you can pick it out, if you can try to focus in on the rhythm guitar part as a positive, and then of course Gavin's vocals. But we'll talk about it afterwards. This is the closing track. It's About Time.
I say you'll never even try. It's about time, it's about time. He said, it's about time, it's about time. It's about time, it's about time. He said, it's about time, it's about time. Walking on this treadmill, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes I wish the rain had come, knock me right off the track. It's about time, it's about time. I said, it's about time, it's about time.
Metal.
Woo!
So, any thoughts from you?
I have to agree with your assessment. That lead guitar is at times it's just overpowering.
And Soraya, that's probably the favorite part of some of our listeners. And I love that about music, how there's different things that touch people in different ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a boring world if we all heard the same song and thought the exact same thing.
Yeah. I don't want that world.
That's boring.
Yeah, I don't want that world.
That's why I have favorite albums that people are like, girl, you're nuts.
Yeah.
And then I have the, there are songs that people love and I'm like, no me mueve la tierra. It doesn't kind of move me one way or the other.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of music, man.
But on the positive side, and I can totally imagine that people would dislike that about this song. I really love the production on the vocals. It's low, it's got reverb on it, it's lo-fi. I love it.
There's a lot to love about this track. And to me, you just can't ignore Gavin Blair on this song. Can't.
Yeah.
And he's been so gracious to us, and thanks to Ronnie Barnett for and Russ too. Like we've gotten a different perspective, from the artist on the songs and the albums, but also I think it really is something that we need to mention, that there is this box set that's coming out.
Thank you.
Curated and produced by Pat Thomas. But if you've slept on True West, I think this is the time to kind of reconnect with them, because the contributions are really solid. And I think this EP is a good example how this band brings together so many different things into a really kind of cohesive sound. And I have to admit, I wasn't too sold on your comment about, the production is kind of lo-fi, but you do kind of love it at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I know,
and
I
then
get it. I get it. Yeah.
you compared this EP with what comes after, and there's a difference,
Oh yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
you can really appreciate this for what it does do. And I think it makes a statement for the band. I have to agree. I'm on your side. You won me over with the lo-fi argument.
All right. Yeah, I know that's not something that's aesthetically pleasing to a lot of people, but for me, it's something that I feel like it's relatable. It just has a feeling. A lot of times, it's more of a feeling than it is picture perfect pristineness, which a lot of these bands got better production later. So
Yeah, I'd agree.
so this is, I think, a great way to wrap up our EP series, and
Well,
right, yeah. So hopefully, listeners, hopefully you're fond of EPs as much as I am. But there's full length albums out there too. But for me, the EP is just a nice, really concise way to a lot of times introduce a band and make you wanting more. And the three examples that we've had on this little series, I think, are definitely great examples of how to get you to join their gangs.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I don't think we need to say anything more. Mi gente, a grubiar.
Groove on, Paisley people.
Lucifer, Sam, Cyan, Cat, always sitting by your side, always by your side. That cat's something I can't explain. Jennifer Gentle, you're a witch. You're the left side, he's the right side. Oh no, that cat's something I can't explain. Lucifer, go to the sea. I'll be a limb cat, be a ship's cat.